Welcome to my channel. What if becoming smarter isn't about having a high IQ? The smartest people aren't born different. They build different habits. In the next few minutes, you'll discover simple, science-backed ways to train your brain, think more clearly, and learn faster. One small habit could completely change the way you think. What's one habit you believe makes a person truly smart? Share your answer in the comments. Chapter 1. Smart people are made, not born. Most people believe that smart people are simply born with a special brain. They see someone solving difficult problems or learning quickly and think, I could never do that. It sounds believable, but it isn't the whole story. Intelligence is not just something you have, it's something you build. Your brain is designed to change throughout your life. Every time you learn a new skill, ask a thoughtful question or solve a challenging problem, your brain creates and strengthens new connections. Scientists call this neuroplasticity, which means your brain can adapt and grow through learning and practice. Think about a path through a forest. The first time you walk there, it's difficult. The grass is tall, and the way isn't clear. But each time you walk the same path, it becomes easier to follow. Your brain works in a similar way. The more you practice thinking, learning, and solving problems, the stronger those mental pathways become. Over time, difficult tasks begin to feel natural because your brain has learned the route. Now, ask yourself a simple question. When you face something difficult, do you usually give up or do you become curious? That single choice shapes your future more than you might think. Smart people aren't the ones who know everything. They're the ones who stay curious when they don't know something. Instead of saying, I'm not smart enough, they ask, how can I understand this better? That small change in thinking opens the door to continuous learning. Research on the growth mindset shows that believing your abilities can improve encourages people to take on challenges and persist when learning gets hard. Here's another surprising idea. Your brain doesn't become stronger while you're only studying. It also grows when you sleep well, exercise regularly, and give yourself time to think deeply. Learning isn't just about reading more books. It's about giving your brain the conditions it needs to perform at its best. Healthy habits such as quality sleep, physical activity, and mental challenges work together to support memory, focus, and problem solving. So, if you've ever believed that intelligence is something you're either born with or without, it's time to replace that belief. Becoming smarter isn't about winning a genetic lottery. It's about building better habits, asking better questions, and giving your brain reasons to grow every day. And that journey starts with one powerful decision. Choose to believe that your mind can improve, because once you do, you'll begin acting like someone who is becoming smarter every single day. Chapter 2. Curiosity is the habit that makes you smarter. Think about the last time a child asked, "Why is the sky blue?" They don't ask because they already know the answer. They ask because they want to understand the world. Somewhere along the way, many adults stop asking questions. They begin accepting information without exploring it, and that's where learning starts to slow down. The smartest people aren't the ones with all the answers. They're the ones who never stop asking better questions. Curiosity is like a key that unlocks your brain. When you're genuinely interested in something, your brain pays more attention, remembers more details, and connects new ideas with what you already know. That's why you can easily remember the story of your favorite movie, but quickly forget facts you tried to memorize without interest. Curiosity turns learning from a chore into an adventure, making new information easier to understand and remember. Research in psychology and neuroscience shows that curiosity improves learning and strengthens memory because the brain becomes more engaged when it expects to discover something new. Now, here's a simple challenge. Look around the room you're in right now and choose one ordinary object, a pen, a cup, or even your phone. Instead of seeing it as something familiar, ask yourself three questions. Who invented it? Why was it designed this way? What problem does it solve? In less than a minute, you've turned an ordinary object into a lesson about history, design, and human creativity. That's exactly how curious minds grow. They don't wait for a classroom to learn. They turn everyday life into a classroom. Many people believe curiosity is something you're born with, but that's not true. Curiosity is a habit. Every time you replace the sentence, "I already know this," with, "What else can I learn?" you're training your brain to think more deeply. Even mistakes become valuable because they reveal something you didn't know before. Studies on growth mindset suggest that people who view their abilities as improvable are more likely to keep learning after setbacks rather than giving up. There's another benefit that often goes unnoticed. Curious people become better problem solvers. Instead of jumping to the first answer, they explore different possibilities. They compare ideas, look for evidence, and stay open to changing their minds when they discover better information. That doesn't make them weak, it makes them wiser. Real intelligence isn't about always being right. It's about being willing to learn when you're wrong. Starting today, make curiosity part of your daily routine. Read one page about a topic you've never explored. Ask one thoughtful question during a conversation. Learn one new fact before going to bed. These tiny actions may seem small, but they compound over time. Just as a single drop of water can slowly shape a stone, one question each day can gradually shape a smarter mind. So remember this powerful idea. Smart people don't grow because they know more. They grow because they refuse to stop wondering. And every meaningful question you ask today becomes another step toward becoming the person you want to be. Chapter 3. Learn deeply, not quickly. Think about the last time you finished reading a chapter or watching a video. A few hours later, how much could you actually remember? For many people, the answer is not much. The problem isn't that they aren't smart. The problem is that they confuse exposure with learning. Just seeing information doesn't mean your brain has truly understood it. Imagine building a house on soft sand. It may look complete from the outside, but the first strong storm can make it collapse. Learning works the same way. If you rush through books, videos, or lessons without stopping to think, your knowledge has no solid foundation. But when you slow down, ask questions, connect new ideas to what you already know, and explain them in your own words, your understanding becomes much stronger. Research shows that actively retrieving information and making meaningful connections helps people remember far more than simply reading or listening repeatedly. Here's a simple example. Suppose you learn that the human brain can change throughout life. Instead of memorizing the sentence, ask yourself, why is that important? Where have I seen this happen before? How could I explain it to a friend? Those questions force your brain to work. And when your brain works, it grows. Learning isn't about collecting facts. It's about building understanding. Now try a quick challenge. Think of one thing you learned yesterday. Without looking at your phone or your notes, explain it out loud in your own words. Was it easy, or did you struggle? That struggle isn't a sign of failure. It's a sign that your brain is strengthening the memory. Scientists call this retrieval practice, and it's one of the most effective ways to make learning last. There's another mistake many people make. They believe learning faster always means learning better. But the smartest learners know when to slow down. They pause to think, ask better questions, and connect one idea to another. Instead of filling their minds with random facts, they build a network of knowledge where each new idea supports the next. Over time, this makes solving problems much easier because they understand the bigger picture instead of isolated pieces. From today, don't measure your progress by how many pages you read or how many videos you watch. Measure it by one simple question. Can I explain this clearly without looking at my notes? If the answer is yes, you've truly learned something. If the answer is no, don't rush ahead. Spend a little more time with the idea until it becomes part of the way you think. Remember this powerful truth. Smart people aren't those who learn the fastest. They're the ones who understand the deepest. Every time you choose understanding over speed, you're building a stronger, sharper, and more confident mind, one idea at a time. Chapter 4. Sleep is your brain's secret study partner. Many people believe that becoming smarter means spending more hours studying. So they stay up late, drink another cup of coffee, and keep reading, hoping that more time will lead to better results. It feels productive, but your brain tells a different story. Learning doesn't end when you close a book. In many ways, the most important part begins after you fall asleep. Think of your brain as a busy library. During the day, you collect new books filled with facts, ideas, and experiences. But if the librarian never has time to organize them, finding the right book becomes difficult. Sleep is when your brain organizes that library. It strengthens important memories, removes unnecessary information, and helps connect new ideas with what you already know. That's why a good night's sleep often makes yesterday's lesson feel clearer today. Research shows that sleep plays a critical role in attention, memory formation, and learning, while even one night of severe sleep deprivation can greatly reduce the brain's ability to form new memories. Have you ever struggled with a difficult problem, gone to bed, and discovered the answer seemed much easier the next morning? That isn't magic. While you sleep, your brain is still working. It reviews what you've learned, strengthens useful neural connections, and prepares you to think more clearly when you wake up. Scientists have found that deep sleep and REM sleep both play important roles in turning short-term learning into long-term knowledge. Here's a simple experiment you can try. The next time you learn something important, Spend a few minutes reviewing it before bed. Then get a full night's sleep instead of staying up late. The next morning, explain the idea in your own words without looking at your notes. You may be surprised by how much easier it feels. Learning isn't only about what you do while you're awake. It's also about giving your brain the time it needs to finish the job. Of course, sleep alone won't make you a genius. If you never challenge your mind, there's nothing for your brain to strengthen. But when you combine focused learning with healthy sleep, you give yourself one of the best opportunities to improve your memory, concentration, and problem-solving skills. Experts generally recommend that adults aim for about 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep each night to support healthy brain function. So, before you sacrifice sleep to study a little longer, remember this powerful truth. Smart people don't just train their minds during the day, they allow their brains to grow at night. Every good night's sleep is an investment in tomorrow's thinking. And sometimes the smartest thing you can do is simply close the book, turn off the light, and let your brain do its quiet work. Chapter 5: Challenge your brain every day. Think about what happens when you use the same road every single day. Eventually, you know every turn without even thinking. Your brain works the same way. It loves routines because they save energy. That's helpful for everyday tasks. But if your brain never faces new challenges, it stops growing as quickly. Becoming smarter isn't about staying comfortable. It's about giving your mind something new to solve. Imagine trying to build stronger muscles by lifting the same light weight every day. At first, it feels challenging, but after a while, your body adapts. To keep getting stronger, you need a new challenge. Your brain follows a similar rule. Learning a new language, playing a musical instrument, solving puzzles, reading about unfamiliar topics, or even taking a different route home forces your brain to create new connections. These small challenges strengthen your ability to think, adapt, and solve problems. Research suggests that lifelong mental stimulation helps build cognitive reserve, making the brain more resilient and supporting long-term learning and memory. Here's a quick challenge for you. Fold your arms the way you normally do. Now switch them so the opposite arm is on top. It probably feels strange, doesn't it? That uncomfortable feeling is your brain working in a new way. Growth often begins with a little discomfort. The goal isn't to make life difficult, it's to remind your brain that it can still learn something new. Many people avoid difficult tasks because they don't like making mistakes. But mistakes are not signs of low intelligence. They're signs that your brain is stretching beyond what it already knows. Every time you correct an error, your brain becomes a little more accurate and efficient. That's why smart people don't fear challenges. They use them as opportunities to improve. Experts also emphasize that regularly learning new skills and seeking variety helps maintain attention, flexibility, memory, and problem-solving abilities throughout life. You don't need expensive courses or special equipment to train your brain. Read a book outside your favorite subject. Learn 5 words in a new language. Solve a logic puzzle. Ask a thoughtful question in a conversation. Write your ideas instead of only reading them. These simple habits tell your brain, keep growing. Over time, those small challenges become powerful improvements in the way you think. So remember this important truth. A comfortable brain stays the same, but a challenged brain keeps growing. Every new skill you learn, every problem you solve, and every question you dare to ask is another step toward becoming smarter. Your brain was built to adapt. Give it a reason to do exactly that. Chapter 6. Think before you believe. Every day, your brain makes thousands of decisions. Most happen so quickly that you don't even notice them. You read a headline and believe it. You hear someone's opinion and repeat it. You see a short video online and assume it's true. It feels natural because your brain likes quick answers. They save time and energy. But here's the surprising truth. Being smart isn't about believing information quickly, it's about examining it carefully. Research in cognitive science shows that our brains often rely on fast mental shortcuts, which are useful but can also lead to errors and bias if we don't slow down and think critically. Imagine two people reading the same news story. The first person immediately says, "That must be true." The second person pauses and asks, "Who wrote this? Where did the information come from? Is there evidence?" Both people have access to the same information, but only one is using critical thinking. The smartest minds don't accept ideas simply because they're popular. They ask questions before reaching conclusions. Here's a simple challenge. The next time you hear an amazing fact, don't share it right away. Ask yourself 3 questions. Is the source reliable? What evidence supports this claim? Could there be another explanation? Those few seconds of thinking can protect you from believing misinformation and help you make better decisions. Experts on decision-making explain that slowing down and examining evidence reduces the influence of common thinking biases and leads to wiser judgments. There's another habit that makes intelligent people different. They are comfortable saying, "I don't know." That may sound surprising, but admitting uncertainty is a strength, not a weakness. When you pretend to know everything, learning stops. When you admit there's more to learn, your mind stays open. Curiosity and humility work together. One helps you ask better questions, and the other helps you accept better answers. Of course, critical thinking doesn't mean doubting everything. It means balancing an open mind with careful judgment. Listen to different opinions, compare ideas, look for facts instead of rumors. Be willing to change your mind when new evidence appears. That's not inconsistency, it's growth. The smartest people don't protect their opinions, they protect the truth. So remember this powerful lesson. A smart mind isn't filled with answers. It's guided by good questions. Every time you pause before believing, check the evidence and stay open to learning. You're training your brain to think more clearly. And in a world overflowing with information, the ability to think critically may be one of the smartest skills you can ever develop. Chapter 7. Never Stop Learning. Have you ever noticed that the smartest people are often the first to say, "I still have a lot to learn"? That might sound surprising. You'd expect intelligent people to have all the answers. Instead, they keep asking questions, reading books, exploring new ideas, and changing their minds when they discover better evidence. Their greatest strength isn't what they already know, it's that they never stop learning. Think of your mind as a garden. If you stop taking care of it, weeds slowly take over. But if you plant new seeds every day, water them and give them time to grow, the garden becomes richer and more beautiful each season. Your brain works in much the same way. Every new skill, every meaningful conversation, and every thoughtful book adds another seed. Over time, those small seeds grow into wisdom. Experts in critical thinking describe lifelong learning as an ongoing process of improving your thinking through curiosity, self-reflection, and continuous practice rather than assuming you've already learned enough. Here's something many people don't realize. Knowledge becomes outdated. Technology changes, new discoveries replace old ideas. If you stop learning, the world keeps moving while your understanding stays the same. That's why successful people don't see learning as something that ends after school or university. They treat it as a lifelong habit. They read widely, listen carefully, ask thoughtful questions, and remain open to new perspectives because they know growth never truly ends. Let's try a simple challenge. Think about something you believed 5 years ago that you no longer believe today. Maybe you've changed your opinion about health, money, relationships, or success. What changed your mind? Most likely, you learned something new. That isn't a sign that you were wrong. It's proof that you're growing. Truly smart people aren't afraid to update their thinking because they value truth more than being right. Now imagine improving by just 1% every day. One new word, one new idea, one page of a book, one thoughtful question. None of these actions seems life-changing on its own, but together they create remarkable progress. Many lifelong learners say that consistency matters far more than occasional bursts of motivation. Small daily habits build knowledge, confidence, and better thinking over time. As this journey comes to an end, remember the lessons you've learned. Intelligence isn't a gift reserved for a lucky few. It's built through curiosity, deep learning, quality sleep, daily challenges, critical thinking, and a commitment to keep growing. Every chapter has pointed to the same powerful truth. Your brain becomes stronger every time you choose to learn, instead of settling for what you already know. So leave today with one promise to yourself. Never let the day end without learning something new. It doesn't have to be big, it just has to be consistent. Because the smartest people in the world aren't those who know everything. They're the ones who never stop becoming a little wiser than they were yesterday. Chapter 8. The smartest people teach what they learn. Imagine reading 10 books, watching hundreds of videos, and taking pages of notes, but never using any of that knowledge. After a few months, much of it begins to fade. Now imagine something different. After learning one new idea, you explain it to a friend using simple words. Suddenly, you notice which parts you truly understand and which parts still confuse you. That's because teaching is one of the most powerful ways to learn. Educational research consistently shows that explaining ideas in your own words reveals gaps in understanding and strengthens long-term memory. You don't need to become a teacher to use this habit. After reading a chapter, close the book and ask yourself, could I explain this to a 10-year-old? If you can, you've probably understood it. If you struggle, don't feel discouraged. That's actually good news. Your brain has just shown you exactly what you need to learn next. This idea is often called the Feynman technique, learning by explaining concepts in simple language instead of memorizing complicated words. Let's try a quick exercise. Think about one lesson from this video. Maybe it's the power of curiosity, the importance of sleep, or why critical thinking matters. Now explain that lesson out loud as if you're talking to your younger brother, your best friend, or even your pet. Use the simplest words you can. Did you pause? Did you search for the right explanation? Those moments aren't failures. They're signs that your brain is turning information into real understanding. Here's something fascinating. Studies have found that even expecting to teach someone changes the way you learn. You pay closer attention, organize ideas more clearly, and remember them longer because your brain knows it may need to explain them later. In other words, learning with the intention of teaching transforms passive reading into active thinking. Now look back at everything you've discovered in this journey. You learned that intelligence isn't fixed. Curiosity opens the door to growth. Deep understanding matters more than speed. Sleep strengthens learning. Challenges build stronger thinking. Critical thinking protects you from false ideas. Lifelong learning keeps your mind growing. And today you've learned one final secret. Knowledge becomes powerful only when you can share it clearly with others. So here's your challenge. Before this day ends, teach one idea from this video to someone else, or simply explain it to yourself in front of a mirror. You don't need perfect words. You only need honest understanding. Every time you teach, you learn twice. Remember this final thought. Smart people don't keep knowledge locked inside their minds. They use it, question it, simplify it, and share it. That's how learning becomes wisdom, and that's how ordinary people become extraordinary thinkers. You've reached the end of this journey, but becoming smarter doesn't end when this video does. Real change begins with one small action repeated every day. If you learned even one idea that changed the way you think, don't let it stay inside your mind. Use it today. Ask one better question, learn one new thing, or teach one lesson to someone else. Small habits create extraordinary results over time. If you found this video helpful, please give it a like. It helps more people discover these lessons and encourages us to create more content like this. If you want to keep growing your mind with practical, science-backed ideas, subscribe and turn on the bell notification so you never miss a new video. Research and creator best practices suggest that CTAs work best after you've delivered value and when they focus on a clear next step. Now I'd love to hear from you. Which habit from today's video will you start practicing first and why? Share your answer in the comments. Your experience could inspire someone else to begin their own journey. Thank you for spending your time with me today. Keep asking questions, keep learning, and remember this: the smartest people aren't the ones who know everything. They're the ones who never stop learning. I'll see you in the next video. Until then, take care and keep growing.